Good evening, everyone. Afia Madzimoyo here, co-founder, co-director of IA Educational Institute, and glad to be here. Yeah, sorry for the virus called COVID-19, and glad that we're all gathering right here today. Ashe.
Welcome to IA response to the COVID virus, all right? COVID, 19 virus. All of you know what's going on. It's important to us that we detail our response in 5-prong response, okay? And that's what we're going to talk about tonight, those 5 different things. Some of them will be scheduled for classes that will start on Thursday and Saturday and go through April 11th. Some of them will be early morning classes. We'll go through those so that you get it. Let me briefly go through those 5 prongs, okay? And we like it because it makes 5 fingers, and makes a strong Black power fist, because part of our response is going to have to be one tailored for our community, one that is about Black power and Black empowerment. So the first prong is we are the cavalry. That's really to turn this thing so that we really focus on strengthening our immune systems. The second one is melanin mastery. And that is, how do we feed our Blackness to support that immune response? Very, very powerful. The third one is education, where we'll talk about the youth and the adult educational offerings that we are offering during this period for our community, free of charge. The fourth one is a counter to the ills of social distancing. We know that social distancing exists to stop or slow the transmission of the virus. It also creates problems, all right? And I'm talking about emotional problems, communication problems, alienation problems, and we really need to address that. And to that end, we're going to talk about classes that we're offering, free classes to help with that. And those will be Thursday and Saturday, Thursday and Saturday. So a series of those are coming. The fourth, in addition to the emotional connection or healing the emotional alienation caused by this, we also have to heal our cultural connection, because Black folks, us touching and being close together is how we get our culture thing on, okay? It's how we survive captivity. And so we need to particularly look out how we're going to use this time, especially to lift up our culture and for us to engage in it in a very powerful way, more than we normally would, all right? And how to account for the fact that we'll be doing that in many times in separate spaces. The last one is, the last prong is tips and resources. And this is because this virus and the response of the various governments are changing from time to time, all the time. We want to really keep you up to date. So we have a number of experts who are coming in, a number of people. Some will be talking about how to grow food. Some will be talking about various kinds of herbs. Some we talk about yoga and exercise and breathing. And so that's going to be an ongoing class that we have as well. So 5 prongs designed to explain our response. Now, the hope is this. The hope is that you can take away something that you can use, that your family can use, that your organization can be about. It really is about having those who are thought leaders in our families and our communities to grab hold to some of these ideas and to make it happen, to duplicate them in your own way, in your own sphere, to make this kind of response a movement, because you can bet that the response, what's coming at us is orchestrated. We clearly need to, in a similar way, grab what you can and move it forward. And so without any further ado, let's start with the first one, right? And the first one is simply, we are the cavalry. Everything about this virus and the description of it and governmental responses, everything about it encourages us to sit and wait, to wait on the testing over here, to wait on the vaccine over here. Now, you know, testing is okay. I mean, it has its problems, but it's okay. That's to slow the virus. Labs working on their vaccine, that's okay as well, though I don't trust them. What's in the middle, y'all? This big swath in the middle is us and our own immune systems. Please hear me. The problem is not the virus alone. In fact, the problem is our weakened immune systems. I want y'all to understand. This theory that folks are part of, this is not new. It was the germ theory, the bacteria theory, and the virus theory. And this theory is to breed dependency. Now, I don't mean that there are not viruses that are dangerous. I don't mean that there aren't bacteria, okay? There are, or they're not germs. When the response is big pharma and pharmacies and laboratories to the exclusion of us building our own bodies, that's a problem. We need to do that. Now, you do know about this virus. The people who died, most of them have had multiple illnesses, okay? Most of the people who died. Now, the reason that they say the elderly are more target, well, that's not true of Baba Kojo. Baba Kojo is 81 years old, and he's not more risk. I'm probably more risk than he is. He just did 81 push-ups for his 81st birthday. But typically, here's why that is generally true. Because our elders are on, now I want y'all to play with this. Our elders are on medication. I want you to fire up the text chat, for those of you who know how to type in the text chat. How many medications do you believe that our elders are on? On average, put a number in there. What's your guess about the number? Is there a text chat available? No?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I just typed in there.
Okay. All right, I got 4, I got 6, I got 5. On the average, elders 60 years old and older are on how many medications? All right, Mommy Money says 7. Blood pressure alone can be 5 to 7. Ross Harris says 6 to 7. All right, time up. 12. That's the average. Y'all know what the average is? Okay, so there's some folks a whole lot more on them. All right. Now, these medications weaken our immune system. Okay. This is why elders are more at risk. Not because they're just older. Okay. It is because it goes on. Okay. One other piece that's important, and that is those people who have been getting flu shots are also at greater risk. I want you to hear me clearly. Those people who are on flu shots, and that have been because the natural immune defenses have been surrendered to those that come from pharmaceuticals. All right. And so it's important. Now, for those of you who are on high blood pressure medication, you also are more at risk, okay? For those of you who are on heart medication, anything that particularly are ACE inhibitors, okay? It really depresses your immune system, and that means all the more reason you need to listen carefully this one and the other subsequent meetings on how do you build your immune system, all right? The biggest thing is to understand the breakdown. What is this virus and who is being attacked by it? Why and what do we need to do to build our immune systems? Right now, I'm not dealing with where it comes from, who made it. This thing is causing havoc in our community, and it's really surrendering us more and more to sit and wait to sit and wait, till they figure out the answer, okay? And weakening our own bodies in the process. So now, I really want, if you can take anything away, and that is, we are the Calvary. Now, some of you, I want you to look up, because y'all are internet savvy and smart, I want you to look up the 1918 Spanish flu. The 1918 Spanish flu, having to do with we are the Calvary. What do you think Black people's position was in terms of hospitals and hospital care in 1918? Okay. You think we were high on the list? All right. Now, when you're going to compare pandemics and epidemics, that 1918 Spanish flu is one that's brought up. No. We couldn't get into the hospitals. We had to do for self. We had to create our own hospital settings, and we also had to strengthen our own immune systems. So this is not the first time. The difference is we knew it then. Now we seem not to, okay? I've watched epidemiological studies of this virus and how it operates, how it gets into the body, and I'll say a little bit about that. But at the end of everybody doing all the details about it, they just leave it for us to wait for big pharma or stay in our homes and hope against hope that it won't get us. That won't do. So let me just give you a protocol, and we'll talk a little bit about this in terms of the way the virus operates. Here's what's needed. For those of you who are taking notes, for those of you who are moving forward, get lots of sun. Noonday sun if you can. Half hour at noon is worth more than an hour later on. Okay, but if you can't do it noonday, try to get bright sun. All right. Sun is antiviral. Air is antiviral. Okay. Now, everything I'm telling you, I'll be glad to share with you data, information, and that kind of thing. Okay. And so, and you know, I just do. Right now I'm going to the short part. In addition to that, the sun activates what, y'all?
Melanin.
Activates melanin. So now we need to talk a little bit about, let me come to it. I'll come more to how that melanin is activated. Right now, get sun, get sleep. For the same reason. Not only is it important to rest your body, it's also important at midnight for you to be well ready for that midnight mother lode of melatonin, not melanin, melatonin, that courses from the pineal gland to the pituitary gland. Then the pituitary gland throws out something called the melanin stimulating hormone. That will hit your melanocytes and begin to have them pump, okay? So you need sun and you need sleep, okay? Now, you also need exercise. This is a virus that attacks the lungs. It goes through your mouth or your eyes or your nose, but it doesn't mess those up. It gets to your lungs and to create an upper respiratory, a lung issue. So here's the bottom line. It attacks your lungs. If your immune system is not strong, it will struggle with it. Now, you always have an immune response, but it will struggle with it. As it struggles with it, it produces fluids. If your immune system is not efficient in terms of handling this, then it will produce fluid. The fluid, what they call fluid on the lungs, it literally is blocking the gas transmission from the alveoli. Okay, on the end of your lungs, you have alveoli. All right, they allow CO2 to go out and fresh air, oxygen to go in. That on your lungs, that fluid blocks that. That's why it's harder breathing. That's why they say ventilators. All of ventilators is come down your own throat and mechanically push and pull the gases, push the oxygen in and pull the CO2 out. Now do know that while your body is doing that, that just means that you can begin to breathe. It means your organs are getting oxygen and they can begin to heal, and your body can throw off this virus. Please note that last thing, that a ventilator doesn't stop this virus. Nothing else does. Your body throws it off, whether you're in the hospital on a ventilator or whether you're in your house like you are tonight. I want y'all to understand this, because it's really easy to get sucked into that folks have this somehow we'll go in the hospital, and when we go in the hospital, they'll have everything we need to throw this virus off, and it's not true. Now, to be sure, if you cannot breathe, a ventilator is critical. But also, it's important, if you do get the virus, to breathe as long as you can through the fluids on your own. Okay? Please do not surrender quickly to just because it's difficult or painful to a ventilator. Okay? You really want to keep pulling and asking your body to do its work. All right? And you want to feed it, and we'll get into that a little bit later. So far we says get sun. We also said get rest. We also says exercise so that you are pumping your lungs. Now, my recommendation is a 180. Y'all type this in the text chat. All right. 25 push-ups, 25 sit-ups, 25 lunges, 25 squats.
Right.
Okay. And 80 jumping jacks. Now you can do this, all right, and you don't have to have a gym to do it. Try to do it 2 times or 3 times a day. All right. Designate people in your house. After I finish this list, I want you to think about who you're going to designate in your house or in your community, who will call you, who you will call, and this person is going to be the exercise person. They're going to ask everybody, have you done your 180? All right. Have you done your 180? All right. Now, if you can do this outside, do it outside. Get the sun, get the air, do it on your back porch. All right. Now, while you're supposed to be quarantined or shelter in place, it don't mean you can't go in your front yard. Okay. All right. So, all right, you got that 25, 25, 25, 25. That's 100 push-ups, sit-ups, lunges, squats, and 80 jumping jacks. Now, what happens if you can't do 25? Do 10. What happens if you need to do what we used to call girly push-ups? Do them. Okay? Get on your knees. It's all right. Just do it. But the key is do it vigorously enough so that you're having to breathe because you're building up your lung capacity. Okay? And since this virus attacks the lungs, you want to do that. All right? Now, continuing with the protocol. Cut out sugar. Okay? Y'all, we can do anything for 8 weeks. All right? We can do anything for 8 weeks. If I go down, then my family is really messed up. Okay? So you can't tell me that as much as I like or want sugar that I can't do this because it's hard or because I just love it or because that kind of thing. My family is critical for this. My family is dependent upon my health, and so cut out sugar for 8 weeks. Cut it out. Sodas, juices, all right? Don't go running thinking if you get Tropicana, you home free. If you want some orange juice, squeeze it yourself, okay? Don't go any of them juices. I don't care what they say, fresh squeezed and all that. If you ain't squeezed yourself, it's got sugar in it, all right? If you just went and bought it and you have to do it, please get rid of it. I mean, do it and let it pass on through your system, all right? The second layer of your immune system is called your neutrophil. And what's critical for neutrophils is that you avoid sugar. Now, the first level for your immune system, the first immune system response is what's called macrophages. Now, I'm not going to go into details because we're going to have other ongoing classes where I can go into detail about macrophages and neutrophils and white blood cells produced in your bone marrow and those kinds of things. Right now, I want you to understand that leafy vegetables and a plant-based diet is your friend, okay? I don't care after 8 weeks or 12 weeks, if you want to go back to it, I'd be sad if you do, but go back to it, okay? Right now, this is an emergency response. And just as well as they have you wearing gloves and washing your hands for 20 seconds, each one of these things is critical protocol for building your immune system, modeling for your family, modeling for your children, so we ain't just sitting watching Netflix and waiting for the shoe to fall. All right, y'all with me? All right, so now, so far we have sun, we have sleep, we have exercise, we have no sugar, and green leafy vegetables. Especially put green leafy vegetables, a plant-based diet, but green leafy vegetables, all right? And I know this is gonna break some of your heart, but your family is worth it. No dairy, okay? Now, when I say no, if you can't get to no, get as close as you can, all right? So if you just gotta have a sugar thing, it's okay, I'm gonna have one time in the morning and I'm not gonna do anymore, okay? Y'all, this is our community's power response. Now, the reason this is hard in the first place is because of this whole germ virus theory, and medicine is all about you're naturally getting sick because what we eat, and then the cavalry coming to the rescue. You see, was our medical system was worth a nickel, eating well would be normal for us, okay, as opposed to eating badly, all right? And one of the things I've started putting out, I want you all to join me. Anybody you know in the medical industry, they need to be championing, not just washing our hands, they need to be championing us strengthening our immune system, all right? And ask them, put them on blast. You know some people who are doctors? What I'm telling you, doctors already know. Right? They know that the people at risk are at risk because of weakened immune systems, sometimes because of medications, and all the time because our diet has us be susceptible. All right? So just as we're urgent, just as you're bugging people. All right, let me make sure we got this diet protocol so we can move on to our next prong. All right, so what I got so far, help me out.
You got sugar or no sugar, green leafy vegetables, no dairy. We do our 180. We get as much sun as we can, we get as much rest as we can.
And exercise.
That's right. 180. That's the exercise. All right. Now, somebody also typed in this text chat, cut out sugar and all his cousins. Okay. Definitely don't let nobody grab one of them yellow and pink and blue packets. Okay, of sugar substitutes. Have them run away from things like the plague. All right. Now, also when you're shopping or when you're eating, just turn over the back if it has OSE on it, dextrose, maltose, glucose, anything else. You know, save it. You know, for something else. But not for your health, not for this. Okay.
And that includes maple syrup and all the syrups and jellies.
All right, Baba Kojo coming at you. Okay, he ain't gonna leave no stone unturned. Okay, do the best you can. And he also is saying maple syrups and various other kinds of cousins of sugar. Get as close as you can, everybody. Get as close as you can. Our immune system, our bodies. I don't know whether you know, but if you look up the recent statistics, I looked them up yesterday, I haven't looked today. There are about 303,000 confirmed cases worldwide, and there are about 97,000 recovered. I want you to understand, you're talking almost a third of people, and that's not done. That's not the end, okay, of who've actually been diagnosed, who've recovered. So we also know that this disease, this virus is not as deadly as SARS, for example. Certainly not as deadly as MERS. The reason that's important to know is because your body has the power to throw it off, okay? Your body can throw this disease off, all right? Now, while it is not as deadly as those, it is more dangerous than those. Now, why is that? That seems like a paradox. How can it be more, less dangerous, less deadly, excuse me, and more dangerous? How can it be? Because it is not as deadly as SARS, but it's more dangerous. How come? Come on, baby. Come on, y'all.
Is it because it stays on surfaces longer?
You got it. You got it. Hey, Osafo, glad you're in the place. You're right, Joy. It is because it is more contagious, all right? And so the answer for that, y'all, the best answer for that is your own strong immune system, all right? And that starts right here, okay? It starts with your mind. It starts with you believing that your body is strong enough. Now, this is why all of the various descriptions, here's how you got to wash your hands, here's how dangerous it is. They also give you this subtle message that your body cannot possibly defeat this virus. And that is not true. Now, let me tell you what this country did during World War II that it could do today, but we need to do. How many of you remember V is for victory, as in Victory Gardens? All right, Baba Kojo is 81. He remembers that. That is, this country had a whole thing of Victory Gardens. That is, the campaign nationwide was for people to plant vegetables. If you don't know about that, look it up, all right? That's what, now, of course, that's not what's happening now, because Big Pharma, not farmer, but pharma as in pharmacy, controls the government. And so it's really important, if we're going to be eating leafy green vegetables, if we're going to be drinking juices, to grow them, to take them out of the garden, buy them from the farmer's market, and have them every day, all right? So now, enough of that. I think you got a basic protocol. And there are some specific things as we have other classes, like each one of the levels of defenses of your immune system. We'll talk about this needs 2,000 units of vitamin A. This needs 2,000 units of vitamin D. I will tell you right now, your macrophages, which is your first line of defense, needs vitamin D. Your monocytes, which is your third line of defense, needs vitamin D, all right? What is your best source of vitamin D? Come on, I know I got some powerful people up here. Type it in the text chat. Type it in the text chat. What's your best source of vitamin D? And that's right, Ra. Okay, Ra, the sun. Do not be confused, okay? We're talking about vitamin D3. All right, if you're talking about building your immune system, you're talking about getting at least 30 minutes of that noonday sun. Take your lunch outside. You and your children too, your grandma and them. Now, some of y'all old enough to know how the old folks used to do when they get sick. They get on the porch. Why do you think they sit on the porch? They knew what big pharmacy doesn't want us to know, that the sun is healing. And so being in the sun is critical for your immune system at the level of macrophages, at the level of the neutrophils, at the level of monocytes. Enough of that for right now. All right. Now it's time to go to part 2. I want to take my breath. Is there anything, I know I'm at risk, but I'm doing it anyway. Any question? I just have to do it. I'm sorry, Evelyn. You know, it's how I got to do this. It's hard for me just to talk to people. My granddaddy was a preacher, so he had to hear somebody saying something. Amen. Thank you, Lord. What you say, get it on, or any questions. So right now, I'm going to open it quickly before we go to prong number 2. Any questions or quick comments. You certainly can fire up the text chat. I'll look there if somebody's talking and try to respond to any questions there. Mama Afua says, stevia is a natural sugar substitute. Yes, please just use it sparingly as well. But yes, it is. All right. Who got something to say or question?
Hey, this is Baba Mark Gaskins. I just want to concur with everything that you've said and say that as I've been following your videos, it has helped me getting my family out, planting in the sun, just listening to music. It actually had a dramatic change on me internally with my blood pressure and everything from not listening to the news every day, finding out what's going on. I tested it out. I turned the news on because I wanted to see what was happening. And all of a sudden, it was like, oh God. So yes, I have not gone back to the news. I've just been pouring into my family, listening to music and enjoying the sunlight. So
I'm so glad you said that, Baba, because now do not think for 1 minute that folks don't know that scaring the daylights out of everybody, okay, with numbers that are suspect, and we're gonna have a whole class on that, all right? And Mama Evelyn's gonna, get down with that. But the point is, having people be isolated and fearful does what to your immune system? Sister Hickman, what does it do?
It weakens it.
It weakens it. It weakens your immune system. So this whole notion of, so wait a minute, we got to make sure that we strengthen this. All right. And what you said, doing things as opposed to sitting and waiting. All right. Others, I'll take one more, two more comments and questions. I'm also looking at the text chat.
Hello, it's Sister Hickman. So in Pittsburgh, it's perpetually, it's dreary here quite often. In the summer, we tend to get sun, but at this time of year, the fall, the spring, we just don't get it. It's rainy and cloudy and overcast. So I'd like to hear some suggestions about how our family can get that vitamin D activated in other ways. Okay,
thank you very much. Move south, sister. I'm just kidding. It's going to be important in that case. I would definitely still go outside when you can, when it's not raining, all right, to get the fresh air, because fresh air is also antiviral, all right, and whatever can filter through those clouds. Let me just tell you something that people have wrong. Folks will say that because of your dark skin, then you are more at risk in Pittsburgh than white people for vitamin D deficiency. Have you heard such foolishness?
Yes.
All right, let me tell you why it's foolishness, okay? Because your melanin, which is sliding us into the point number 2, your melanin does not block UV rays from the sun, okay? Please hear me clearly. Your melanin, the melanin in your skin, okay? And all of you on this call got melanin in your skin. You light skin, dark skin, we got melanin in the skin. If you know you don't have melanin in the skin, you know what? Basically, then you're albino, all right? And even white folks ain't albinos, or there are some white people who are, but I'm talking about boom. So hear me. Please help me dispel this rumor that melanin blocks the sun and the UV rays, and that's how it protects you like an umbrella. It does not. Melanin eats the sun. It drinks the sun. So if there are any UV rays coming through, sister, your melanin is gonna make it that you're gonna get more of it, okay? Because your melanin absorbs it, okay? All right, now the vitamin D test that you take, all right, saying that Black people are vitamin D deficient is wrong, because it's based on folks searching for the prevalence of a protein that white people developed as they were in the north, and that protein would bind to vitamin D2. There is D1, D2, and D3. D3 is what's bioavailable. All right. D3 is what's made when the UV A and B rays go through your skin and it begins the chemical process that to make vitamin D1, D2 into D3. D2 is a precursor. So white people, because they lived in the frozen north, created a protein that would bind to D2 so that in those months, then they would be able to make vitamin D3. So the test that for vitamin D, all right, is a test that to see how much of that protein you have. Well, black people don't have much of that protein. How come? Why we don't have much of that protein?
We don't need it.
Because we don't need it. We didn't need it. All right. Where we were, boom, you walk out the door. You got, in 5 minutes, you got as much sun as you ever need. Welcome, Kim. Glad you're in the house. All right. So we don't need that. Now, so many black people are on vitamin D supplement pills. And all I'm telling you is the test. And another way you know that the tests about vitamin D, those tests are wrong, is another test. And that is black people's bone density is greater than any other ethnic group's bone density in the United States of America. You cannot be the most vitamin D deficient and have the highest bone density because vitamin D is directly related to the calcium uptake in your bones. Hear me, okay? Now this is good news we got to get to our folks because too many vitamin D supplements actually harmful to us, okay? All right, and we'll get into some of that later. But right now, I want you, I'm hoping I'm answering your question. So Celeste, yes, you can take vitamin supplements right now in your situation to help you because it's dreary and whatever. Your body, go ahead and convert it. And of course, there are some so-called animal sources of vitamin D, and those are oily fish and those kind of things. You can find those readily available, all right? And still get your butt outside as much as you can. Get to exercising as much as you can. Model this for your family. Y'all, what I'm hoping.
Wekesa?
Yes.
I'm sorry to disturb you. I just wanted to point out to everybody, most everybody probably is seeing in the chat some suggestions from folk in terms of getting sun, some lighting we can buy. Somebody asked about water, and we're giving each other different ideas. I just want to know, everybody know that we'll make the chat available to everybody. So we'll all have the benefit of everybody's great thinking and experience as well.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So there are a couple of questions. Whole wheat grains, sprouted grains. There are a whole number of grains that are good for you, and some are better than others. Sprouted grains are always the best because they add increased digestion. Yes, we do need to eat grains. Now, the dominant so that's part of a plant-based diet. I'll just use it generally like that. Mama Afur also says the countries with selenium-rich soil had lower incidence of disease intermittent. Oh yes, and she says high doses of vitamin C is also very important. So instead of going and getting Tropicana and all of that, no matter what it says, get you some lemon, squeeze it, get you some lime, squeeze it, have them lime juice every morning, have it in the afternoon. All right, vitamin C, this particular virus does not like vitamin C. I'll tell you one more thing about the virus, and then we got to go to melanin stronger than this. Here's one thing. There is some research, and I'm still researching it, but I've gotten pretty good evidence. I'm not ready to be totally conclusive. But so far, it seems that this particular virus loves the cold and can't stand the heat. Particularly, it dies. Again, I'm still having some research on this, so don't quote me on it. This is what my preliminary research is telling me. At 133 degrees, this virus dies. So if you went into a sauna, and the sauna air is usually 180 degrees or between 70 and 190, and stayed in 2 hours and breathed that air, and you did that a couple of different times, the virus would probably die. all right? There are other things that we're working on, and by next Monday, we'll have some about if you don't have a sauna, how you can also do this, how you can also apply this. The main thing I want you to do as we leave this particular section to go to the other one is let's make it a campaign that we will strengthen our immune systems, okay? That we will not wait for laboratories and figure out what they are doing. That we will not just do social distancing and just hope against hope. Our people never did that. Our people went to those vegetables, went to them collard greens, okay? Went to the mustard greens, all right? Went to them herbs, them teas, those mullein, all right? And we're going to have people on our our Thursdays and our Saturdays classes, some who will say, here are some herbs, some who will give you various other kinds of things, some who will talk about breathing techniques. We'll do that. Right now, please join me. Help make this movement. When you leave here, tell 100 people, tell 5, do something, say, we got to take charge of building our immune system, and we can do this for 8 weeks, maybe 12 weeks. We could do this, all right? So that it's not just a regular suggestion. Eat better. No, this is a war, and building our immune system is how we win, okay? I want you to understand. So exercise cannot be optional, all right? Cutting out sugar can't be optional. Getting sun can't be optional as much as you can, all right? Those things that we listed have to be about, this is what we're doing, all right? And you challenge every mental health professional that's Black, you challenge every medical health professional to help you talk about what to do to strengthen the immune system, not just what you do to wash your hands. You already got that message. Not what you do to social distance. Have them pick their brains and ask them only one question or two. How what can they give you to help you strengthen your immune system? Emotional, social, herbal, food, okay? All right, enough of that. Now let's go to prong number 2. Prong number 2 is melanin. I've talked a little bit about it. I got to pull it up. And some of you saw today. How many of you guessed what that, I had a picture there and I said, guess what this is? How many of you were able to guess what that was? This was on Facebook. Oh, let me see if I can pull it up. Let me see if I can get somebody here to guess what it is. My. They're black things. They're powerful black things. And let's see. There you go.
Sister
Sister
Yeah.
Lucretia. There you go. So let me give the picture so everybody can catch up with Sister Lucretia. Bam. You see that? Can everybody see that? Did everybody see it? For those?
They look like figs.
They look like figs, but they're not figs. They're black garlic. Why am I showing you black garlic as we talk about melanin? Because guess what you're looking at? You're looking at melanin. I'm gonna show it to you again. You see, melanin in our bodies come in 3 forms, and that is in mammals, right? Eumelanin, pheomelanin, and neuromelanin in our brains. Melanin in the plant kingdom is called allo, A-L-L-O melanin. What you are looking at is allomelanin. And you're looking at one of the most powerful resources for it, okay? This is just fermented or aged garlic. You age it for about 40 days. You can buy it like that, or you can buy regular garlic and age it yourself. That is, the aging process kicks in the melanin process, and therefore you're eating this, and it's sweet, okay? It's sweet. You see that, Brother Maoli? You see that black garlic? That's what I'm talking about, all right? Blackness, so this black garlic, I encourage you to get. I encourage you to eat, okay? I encourage you to ferment. Okay, I encourage you to research about it. Okay. Now, of course, when you look at garlic, you don't expect for it to have any melanin, but there it is. And it is powerful. It helps your own immune system do what it does. And I'm going to give you a little bit of that. But I'm also going to tell you about some other black things. Some of y'all already know about black seed oil. Do you know what color are the seeds from black seed oil? Do you know what makes the black seeds black? Yes, it's melanin, allomelanin. And guess what? You're eating allomelanin helps your melanin do what it needs to do. Okay? So black seed oil, hit it. Now, one of my favorites, and I bet you, I know there's no run on this. I was just at the health food store and they even cleaned out on me. Some of the bins is gone, all that. And I'm so glad the people at the health food store. But there was one bin that wasn't cleaned out. It was black rice. It was, they called it forbidden rice. Let it keep on being forbidden from other folks. All right. Now, some of y'all, if y'all know black rice, give me an amen. Can I get an amen on the black rice? All right.
Mo.
Now, I don't care if you ever heard of it before. I don't care if you never made it before. All right. We're talking about strengthening the melanin in your body. Okay. And using allomelanin to do it. Allomelanin, again, is the plant melanin in your body. All right. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of surprises. How many of you know of the wonderful plant echinacea? How many of you know that echinacea is a powerful plant for when you have, infections? Echinacea and golden seal. What if I told you that echinacea also has melanin, and melanin isolated from echinacea is one of the most powerful aids to your immune system on the planet, okay? You see, what people began to do is try to figure out why echinacea did what it does, why it was so popular, why people used it so much, why did it have such a powerful reputation? And they began to isolate the melanin in it, okay? And what they found is that it's one of the most powerful things. It helps your spleen, and some of you know about the role of your spleen. It's just powerful. Now let me just might as well. No, I'll come to that in a minute. So echinacea. Now here's another one. This one's for the brothers because you need to be taking this anyway, particularly if you over 30 years old. How many of you have ever laid your eyes on saw pimento berries? Palmetto. And that pimento cheese that I couldn't stand in grade school stuck in my head. So saw palmetto is the proper name for it. And saw palmetto is a powerful, they're black, those seeds are. You boil them bad boys and make you some tea, okay? Grind them up and put them in capsules, okay? I already ordered me some, whole bunches of them. If I was in Florida, in Florida, they made against the law to pick them. All right, because they're trying to get it where folks can sell them. The point is, I'm pointing you to foods. There's another thing that's not black, but it has melanin, they've isolated melanin from, and that's green tea. Okay. Now, in our other classes, we'll give you the whole list of them. I'm going to try to pull up the, let's see if I can find that. All right. So let me just show you a little bit because I don't want y'all to think that Bob Wekesa is pulling y'all leg. All right. So now, here's some of the research that you will get in our classes. Pharmacological properties of melanin and its function and health. All right. So we're going to go through a couple of them, just so you see. Sunscreening and radioactive protective effects of melanin. Y'all, most of you know this, okay? What you don't know is this. I'm going to focus right here. Notably, mice that were given white mushrooms supplemented with a little bit before this, all right? The location of the mushroom-derived melanin in the body. So folks took the melanin from mushrooms, put it in the body, okay? Exposed mice to a lethal dose of radiation. Those who had been given the melanin from the mushroom for 4 days lived. Those lacking the melanin died from a gastrointestinal syndrome, okay? Even mice that were given white mushrooms but supplemented with melanin survived at the same rate as mice given black mushrooms. The authors concluded that melanin-containing mushrooms can provide significant protection against radiation and could be developed into oral radioprotectants. All right, let me move on. Antioxidant effects of melanin. All right. Now, I can't give you the details right now, but I really want you to understand that this is real research. This is not pie in the sky, right? Melanin extracted from tea leaves was found to inhibit the oxidation of low-density lipoproteins, okay, which supports the idea of an inhibitory effect of melanin against free radicals. I'm gonna move on. Enhancement of modulation of the immune system. I'm gonna sit right here for a minute because this is what we're talking about building so that we can survive and we can defeat this coronavirus, okay? So I'm gonna take it a little slow. A number of previous studies have shown that plant and synthetic melanin can modulate cytokine. What are cytokines? Cytokines are white blood cells production and enhance several immune parameters. Recently, it was demonstrated that animal and fungus melanin extracted melanin-like pigments from black tea showed that oral administration of melanin-like pigments to mice significantly stimulated splenic, that is from your spleen, lymphoid tissue. Later, Hung demonstrated that melanin extracted from different tea species induced cytokine, that is white blood cell production, with green tea melanin being 100 times more active than black tea melanin. It was also reported that antibodies secreting cells produce significantly more antibodies in animals treated with tea melanin that did antigen control, that is people who did not have it. I want to say something about antibodies. Right now, there are over 97,000 people who have been diagnosed with it and who have recovered. That means their bodies have developed antibodies to this, okay? If their mamas and they breastfeeding their children got antibodies from it, okay? Since your saliva is just like your blood, for those of you who are old enough to exchange saliva, then the other person is developing immunity to it, okay? Don't be laughing, it's the truth. All right, my point to you is they're even looking at taking plasma from people who have developed the antibodies in order to develop a pharmaceutical form, all right? What I want you to see, what you were just looking at, is that melanin helps with the antibody secretion, all right? So you need to develop antibodies. You want the melanin to help you do that, all right? Just a little bit more on that here. Our Mufarage showed that in albino rats, black seed melanin, talking about that black seed again, induced high and long-lasting antibody response to sheep red blood cells by stimulating the immune system. That is, they injected foreign blood cells, the blood cells from sheep. They injected those cells into albino rats with no melanin, and they found that the antibody response was high and long lasting. Okay, so the authors reported that melanins with the highest level of activity were found in Allium sativum, that's that black garlic, y'all. Tabebuya, this is a tree that grows in Florida and other places. This is saw pimento, and there is your echinacea. All right, there is more, but I want you to, hopefully you're getting the picture. And I'm going to stop to answer any of your questions, but I want to remove any shadow of your doubt in your mind. These people who will say, it is a myth that black people can't get this because we black. That's true. Black people have contracted this illness, all right, this virus. Black people will contract this illness. And black people's melanin, unless they are compromising it by how much fried chicken they're eating, how much other medications they're using to suppress their system, or how much dairy and other ways they're suppressing the system, their melanin will aid in them recovering. When I say recovering, sometimes they may not even know they got it. It'll be like, wow, get out of here. You want and you need a quick and efficient immune response. If your immune response is slow, is sluggish, is struggling, it will produce through, I don't have time to give you the details now, I'd love to, but it will produce the fluid on the lungs, all right? And that is what takes people off the planet. So you want an immune system that is like, come on up in here, all right? Just come on up in here, we got something for you, all right? That's how you want your immune system to be. Now to do that, you gotta first have an attitude of we kicking this in the butt. We ain't sitting, we ain't waiting for no big pharma, okay? Pharmacy. We're not waiting for the government. We are going to strengthen our immune system as a family, as a community. Everybody get out there. Everybody do your 180. Everybody eat black rice. Everybody eat, I just showed you, and there are a number of other botanicals, that is plants, where the active ingredient is melanin, and ain't nobody told you that melanin called aloe, A-L-L-O melanin, strengthens your melanin so it can do the job it needs to do. All right, any questions or comments? Zion said, I feel like church tonight. Well, my grandfather, Marsh Tucker, would be pleased.
No, that's actually his mom. I'm just on his computer. It's Monica.
Hi, Monica. How you doing, sister? So glad you're here.
I have a question for a friend who has an autoimmune disease. She has Crohn's disease and she's on a lot of medications. And I know you said the medications can sometimes suppress the melanin. What should she do?
Well, it suppresses your immune system. It can suppress the melanin too. It suppresses the immune system. And well, if I were she, and she doesn't want to, get off those, and I'm not into telling anybody medically to get off your meds. It's a decision each person can make. What I would do is I definitely would strengthen the everything else. I would eat green leafies like they were going out of style. I would eat a plant-based diet. I would exercise, and I would fill my body full of melanin as I can, plant-based melanin. Also get her butt in the sun, if it's a he or if it's a she, all right? So that you get to use the aid that you have. Now, to the extent if she's used to cutting down or can go to her physician, because you can go, like physicians already know this, all right? They know that ACE inhibitors, usually things that end with pril, dopapril or other kind, whatever pril, those inhibitors, all right, for lung and heart, it's already established that many of the people in China and in Italy had those kind of illnesses and were on those kinds of medications. Now, they don't say that. What they say is many people with high blood pressure are at risk. Well, that puts the onus on you, as opposed to saying many people who are on high blood pressure medication are at a greater risk. Notice the difference. You got high blood pressure. That's your fault. But guess what? It's not your high blood pressure. It's the medication that also suppresses your immune system. Now, Now, in this case, what I would say to her is to ask her doctor, tell her doctor, okay, that she's afraid that things that she's taking to suppress her immune system to handle her Crohn's disease is also making her susceptible. And she wants him to figure out the lowest amounts that she can be on for 8 weeks. Okay? The lowest amount she can be on for 8 weeks. All right? And then her do whatever she needs to do, okay, to strengthen her system.
Thank you. She's listening, so she's hearing you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, next question. Best place.
Good evening.
All right, good evening. Come on.
Good evening, Bob Wekesa. There's much anecdotal conversation around saw palmetto being good for the prostate. So
Yes.
I was wondering, have you run across that in
is.
your research? And if so, could you speak to that?
Well, it is good for the prostate. You know, there are tests that says, well, when we did a double blind, blah, 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 you know, it proved no more effective than a placebo. I haven't got my hands on the study because part of what I want to get my hands on how effective was a placebo. And this is important, okay? You got to watch it. There actually is now science where they are depending on placebos, all right? That is mainly your mind directing your body to heal. So if, and I actually presented to one of my classes where folks did that, they literally intentionally created a placebo, told people it was a placebo, and still got tremendous results where other things didn't. So in order for me to value that study, I'd have to know how many from the placebo were better. Anyway, yes, my humble opinion, saw palmetto, excellent for the prostate. Also for hair loss. If you really start researching, you'll find it is now being marketed more as a hair loss prevention than, or as much as it is for the prostate, okay? And in both men and women, all right? And one of the most powerful elements of this saw palmetto is melanin. That's why the seed is black. Next question. Yes, Baba Brian, the mind is very powerful. It's a whole nother, this is why we're wanting you to help us get out into our community. Let's become a cadre. Let's become a force. Let's become a movement saying we will, through building our immune system, defeat this virus. Not we'll wait it out. Because of what brought Baba Brian, the mind is very powerful. We've been seduced to relinquish the power of our healing to big pharmacy and big laboratories. Please take it back, because the mind is the power to heal. All right. And I know folks want to say, yeah, but that's blah, 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 your mind will hit. But I'm sorry, y'all. This mindset that we in our community are going to defeat this virus because we're going to become healthy as we've ever been. Y'all, what can we lose? Tell me, what do we lose if 8 weeks later, 12 weeks later, we're a healthier community? We've discovered we don't have to have that much sugar, okay? We've discovered we don't have to have that much dairy. We've discovered that we actually develop a taste for some leafy green vegetables. Come on, y'all. All right, there's another question. If it's working for hair loss and prostate, then it's working along the kidney meridian and somewhere increasing yin. Also, the kidney color is black, so it makes sense. Absolutely. There's a direct connection between our kidneys and renin production and this particular coronavirus as well, okay? And the ACE inhibitors, something called angiotensin. Now there's a brother who begins to break it down, all right? He's called AT, the Arch degree. If you go to AT, the Arch degree, he begins to break down the angiotensin. I've watched his video. I donated to him because of that, because I appreciate the knowledge he was dropping. I've written to him to hope to get some more information and collaboration, but I'll try to find his website right now. Where he begins to break down. Now, I got to take it a little deeper. I mean, he does a great job and he knows his stuff. The connection between the the production of this and the ACE inhibitors and that kind of thing like that. That's where I first learned it. I've since also got it from some other places. Let's find AT, the arch degree. See if I can find it. All right. I'm going to put the link.
This is KT, the arch.
Excuse me, KT, the arch degree. I said AT. I'm going to put the link in the text chat to his video on YouTube. And if I can get him on in one of our classes, we can bring him on because we're going to have continual classes about this. All right, there. So this is KT, the arch degree. He also has a website. He also has products, and where he's explaining and I'll also just put a little bit of the text chat. This is spurred on by the connection to the kidney. All right. Incidentally, the vitamin D3 is connected to the kidney. Okay, in terms of where it's coming. All right. Let me see. Are there any other questions before we move on to the other one? What can you do? Let's see. About sugar addiction. All right, let me say something about addiction. The strongest kinds of addiction people talk about is cocaine, morphine, and stuff like that. But not long ago, a scientist playing with rats started thinking about maybe it's not as much the cocaine as it is the cage. So they made 2 rat cages. One was nothing but a rat cage. The other they made into a rat theme park. And they fed the rats in the rat cage cocaine water. And those rats became hooked on the cocaine water. They put rats in the cage that was the theme park, and they had a choice, regular water or cocaine water. Guess what they chose, y'all?
Okay.
Regular water.
No.
Yes, regular water.
Okay.
Baba Brian already said the mind is a powerful thing. That is, it is our condition, our sense of depression, our sense of hopelessness, okay, that contributes to our sense that we are addicted and we can't break it, okay? Right now, if you had a choice, if your child, whether they're grown or not, or your mother or father, and somebody said, Wekesa, in order for your father to live, you have to give up sugar for 8 weeks, maybe 12. Would you do it? Could you do it?
Yeah, done deal.
Done. That's what we're talking about. You place, that's what we're talking about. Right now, this is war. Okay? You don't play with it. They will let you play with it because they made you sick. They want you to be sick. Come on, y'all. And I don't mean that doctors who go to school, they got horns and whatever. I'm talking about they're part of a medical system. And unless you like Lala Africa, who bless his soul, who just passed, okay, you know, then you're going to follow that process. What I'm saying to you is we can't afford it. I got grandchildren depending on me, okay? I got great-grandchildren that ain't got here yet depending on me, okay? I got brothers and sisters who I love. I can cut out sugar for 8 and 12 weeks. So that's what I say with sugar addiction. You put beside them, all right? You put in front of them the actual options and not the ones that they tell you, because your doctors, they just said cut down on it. They just said it's not good. Y'all, I'm telling you, if you're talking about your immune system, your neutrophils, you look it up, your neutrophils, which are a key part of your immune defense system, is severely, severely compromised by sugar. So this is not just do it so you lose weight. Do it so you won't have diabetes, although both of those things are good reasons. Right now, the charge is to defeat this virus. Okay, so all right. So there's any other question before we move on? Let me see what I'm missing in the text chat. Let me get from who's over there. Could that be Jackie Mayfield in this room? I know, bro, Phil Haynes. Is that Jackie Mayfield?
No, this is Jackie Washington.
Hey, Jackie Washington. What's up?
Hi.
All right. Now tell me, I gotta hear from somebody to tell me that I'm doing all right and then I need to keep going. Tell me you're getting something. Tell me this worth your while if it is.
Yeah, go, Baba. Yeah, go.
Keep going.
Move.
Gratitude.
Keep
going. We got this.
Now, here's a commercial. I want all of you to consider Higher Education Institute is becoming a membership organization so that you can take out a membership for a monthly fee to keep us going and doing this kind of work and expanding it, okay? And at the appropriate time, Mama Phil will put in the link. Mama Phil, if you here, put in that link, okay, and you'll see those options. I'm gonna keep going, but you know, here, you know, do it if you can, all right? And every month so we can keep on expanding and doing the work that we need to do here. All right, let me see, somebody said, now I don't know Cynthia, I don't know Dean 5 milligram. One of the things that we can do out of this, all right, is identify, we have a number of people maybe on the call who can respond to that specifically.
It's a high blood pressure medicine.
Okay, it's a high blood. Well, I'm actually researching because my brother who lives in North Carolina, all right, when I told him about that, he said, well, should I get off my blood pressure medication? And I said, well, let me research what the particular ones are you on, okay? And so I actually will be doing some research on specifically high blood pressure medication and various kinds of options. And I always, because I don't claim to be a physician, I'm glad I'm not, okay? I'm a Black man, all right? In our African tradition, and that believes that he can understand things. And what I do is I educate people and let people make their own decisions, okay?
Okay.
All right, that's what I'll do. So I'll do that. Masabi says black seed is sesame seed, and it shouldn't interfere with breastfeeding. It's not. Well, black seed is sesame seed, black seed is caraway seed, black seed. Actually, there are a couple of different black seeds there. Mama Sabi. So, all right. Now let's move to number 3, to prong number 3. So hopefully you're convinced, and you won't let anybody convince you that your melanin does not age you, all right? And when we offer classes about that, then you will jump into them so you can know more about it, this blessing from the Creator that is in our brains, in our eyes, in our ears, that courses through our blood and goes necessary. I will just say one more about it so that if people want to know about melanin and its healing capacity, how it naturally goes to wounds. Some of you grew up where you got mosquito bites in the summer. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Got some testimony of the mosquito bites in the summer, and you scratch the mosquito bites, and what your parents tell you about scratching the mosquito bites?
Stop scratching.
Stop scratching them, okay? Well, not only would it spread it, right, but in the healing process, those mosquito bites that you scratched would turn what?
Dark.
They be dark, right? And you have all these spots, and your folks say, yeah, don't scratch them, you know, let them go down. Well, guess what them dark spots, what's that is, all right? It wasn't there before, but to heal that wound, melanin comes to your rescue, okay? So it is not just an absorber of and protect your skin from the ultraviolet rays of the sun. It also comes to where it's needed. It will come to your lungs. Please don't let nobody cheat you out of that, all right? And don't let you start depending on big pharmacy. those things that I showed you is pharmaceutical companies and researchers trying to determining the power of melanin so they can put it in pills, okay? So they can take it from plants, extract it from plants, extract it from green tea, and charge you for it. And that's wonderful. My thing is, listen, you can get those things in its natural form, and you can also, as powerful as they are, the most powerful developer of melanin on the planet is you and the sun, okay? While those things will aid you, your body develops melanin. It's a melanin developing machine. Okay, don't let nobody cheat you out of it. All right, go for it. All right, and you'll learn more. I want you to learn. Now, I'm not one of them people that says, okay, got melanin, I got the t-shirt, and that's all you want to do. No, you got to know the science of it and the biology of it if you're going to be in our space. But anyway, that's enough for that. Number 3, we're so excited to open up Aya's classes. Now, a lot of people having to come. So number 3 is education. A lot of people are coming to needing to do homeschooling and needing to do online education because of this virus. And that's wonderful. We got to do what we got to do. Aya, thank you, Aisha. That's the actual seed, Nigella seed. Aya has been doing education for 21 years, and for 16 of them, we have been doing it online, okay? We have some high standards for how you do online education, all right? And so we are opening 3 classes that your middle school and or high school students can attend. One is called Melon Mastery. And guess what we're learning? Guess what these middle school students and their parents who attend, and any high school students who want to audit the class, all right, this is for free, okay, for us as a part of this response. After they are there, a part of the response, if they want to join us more fully, they can. Some already have, okay? So they're auditing the class, and one class is Melon Mastery. You don't have to be a middle school student to attend, all right? You'll learn something no matter what age you are, because we got those students learning what you've been learning tonight, except for in more depth and detail, okay? Middle school students going after it. Now, one class for high school students and adults is called the Economic Conundrum, okay? This is economics, culture, and history.
Baba, if you allow me, I can show the schedule.
Okay. Okay, great. All right, go ahead, show the schedule.
Still disabled, sorry.
Still disabled, okay. That's something, let me see.
That's okay. It's all right.
Okay. So Afia, no, go ahead, pull it up, try it again.
All right. Okay.
How can you hear?
Okay. So the time for the Melon Mastery class, Afia is hovering over that. That's at 2:35 to 3:35. That's Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Write it down, all right? And let us know if you want your children to attend, if you want to attend, so we'll just know and how to prepare for you being there. If you're an adult or if you're youth, all right, you'll get a chance to see how we teach in this online space. That will help you as you are doing it yourself or you're choosing online programs, all right? So that's Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's highlighted in green, 2:30 to 3:35, 2:35 to 3:35. All right. Next is, and this is for high school students and adults. If you lobby very hard, we may let a middle school student in. We actually have 2 who are advanced and they're kicking it. And this is ones we have highlighted now is taught by Brother Tafari, called High School Social Studies Pan-Africanist Explorations, all right, by Tafari Melazizwe, all right, and Mama LaDonna. So this is on Monday, Wednesday at 9 a.m., All right, Monday, Wednesday at 9 a.m. Now, the reason we're saying not just for high school students is because you can learn things that you can teach your children during this process. You do not have to just stick to what packet they sent home for you, okay? All right, Nafia, let's go. And the last one is economic, it's high school social studies. Again, you can attend free. It's called Economic Conundrum. This class is about history, culture, and economics. History, culture, and economics. No economics for us is going to be successful unless we ground it in our historical lessons and unless we wrap our people again in our circle of culture. All right. And so we studied places like Black Wall Street, the one in Durham, the one in Tulsa, and Rosewood, and Sweet Auburn. And then we looked at how is it that we accomplished what we did? What was the circle of culture that have us clothed in our right minds? That's critical because we're going to have to need to do that. If all we have is vision and numbers, that will not be enough to sustain it. That is not what we had before. You couldn't have black just with numbers. And we had the numbers and a vision. You also had to have a circle of culture that was around our people that had us support each other like nobody's business and believe in each other to build our business like nobody's business and help us defend it. So those are 3 classes that are open to you for free. All right. If you didn't get them, put your email in the text chat, say I want classes, or on the website. I think we also have in the form, Afia, if you can put the form there, we have a form for you to sign up for those classes. Again, those you can audit those classes for free. And if you find that it's to your liking, then please jump on in, okay, in a more formal way, now or next year. Many schools and most of them around the country will be out for the rest of the year, okay? Learning what you can, of this stuff and what you can teach your children. I can tell you one thing. If somebody had taught me science, the way we're introducing science by going through the door of melanin, I would probably be a scientist instead of an educator, all right? I will tell you one other thing that we do as a part of that, and this is the education part. Hold on just a second. See, Bob O'Brien said, the mind is very powerful. So all of our students and instructors, when you come to class, you got to come to class in your lab coat, in your African-centered lab coat. That's right, created by one of our own students, okay? Now, this may seem like a simple thing, but the mind is powerful. And we want our children to think scientifically and be scientists. When they come in that class, no matter what else, they come in the class and they sit in the seat and they become scientist minded, okay? And so that's Melon Mastery, all right? So those are the 3 classes. Let me keep on going. There also are classes for parents who are first-time educators. Now, you know, a whole bunch of y'all, a whole bunch of parents, you know, they home and they gotta educate their children. And so this class is on Tuesdays. This class is on Thursdays at 10:45. This is tips for parents who are first-time educators. What do? They can come and ask questions. Oh, well, I can't know what to do. They don't want to do the work, whatever. I will tell them what I know. We will continue to have that class so that those who are now find themselves to be educated can learn and get some tips and get some support for continuing to do that. All right. So education is number 4. All right. Well, I'll say one other thing about that. For those of you who are engaged in education or supporting the education of your children during this time, turn your education toward this virus and towards studying it and helping your children study it. All right, we're faced with it right now. Why are you gonna have them start doing something? You know, you can have them practice vocabulary as they're dealing with the vocabulary of this, but make sure that you also include our studying our immune system, or else while you're teaching them, you also will teach them to surrender to Big Pharma. and pharmacy, okay? Make sure that your teaching is always empowering. But you can literally start to have them learn, okay? What is, if a governor made a statement, what is a governor, okay? What does the governor have to do with it? If the president says, okay, you know, he can enact a particular act where he can have nationalized industries, what is the name of that particular power? Are y'all with me on this? Okay? That is, you throw out the little packets that they give you, and in the place of that, use this situation, use growing food. Okay. Now, if you know how to grow food, teach your children. If you know how to fix cars, teach your children. If you know how to make a powerful kale salad, teach them that. Okay. All right. If you know you play a bad game of a bid whiz, okay, teach them that. Okay. All right. Now, why is this really important? Is because the first thing you're reestablishing is you have something to teach them. You have something of value, and you're building the relationship. Okay. I got this packet of stuff around Algebra 1. I don't really remember my Algebra 1, didn't like it in the first place, and now I'm struggling with you to establish myself as a teacher with you on Algebra 1. That should never be first. First is you teach them something that touches your heart. That still will be useful to them in life. Okay, because if this situation doesn't show you anything, it's that just having academics is not the answer. Okay. All right. So that's just my last tip on education. So now that's number 4. We got 2 more prongs to make a powerful Black Power fist. And this one here is probably the most important. And that is, this is the counter to social distancing. We're told to social distance so that we will stop the spread of the virus. Cool. But what problems does social distancing cause? Say it out loud or type it in the text chat. What problems?
Mental health issues.
Mental health issues. Type in the text chat. Try to be specific if you can. What kind of mental health issues? All right.
Depression.
Depression. Come on with it.
Abandonment.
Anxiety.
Anxiety. Put it in the text chat. After you say it, type it in the text chat. What you saying, Seasway? Your mic is closed.
PTSD.
PTSD. Okay, put in the text chat. All right. Now, low self-esteem, trigger scarcity mindset. Suicide. Thank you very much. So while folks say we got to stop the spread of this, and they're scaring everybody and then isolating everybody, I'm going to give you the words of Amos Wilson. Isolation is a handmaiden of oppression. Y'all know what a handmaiden is? A servant. Isolation serves oppression. Okay? If we're practicing social distancing, we must compensate for that by authentic, expanded, emotional connection and cultural connection. We call it ACC, all right? Authentic, emotional connection and authentic cultural connection. It is critical that we figure out how to do this. Now, to this end, on every Thursday and Saturday, I will offer courses again for free. 45 minutes of some of the most powerful tools that we have used, and they will be fashioned for this virus response. These tools are called feelings as messengers. Mama Phil will be doing a session on how do you confront without attacking. The root of that tool is River of Touches. We're going to be doing storytelling and teaching you how to use this time to gather information about your family stories and how to begin to tell them, not just to your youth, but to each other. And also, how do you heal broken stories? What better time is it than this, than for us to heal broken stories, for us to learn how to gather these stories in our families, how to have us do it, how to have our children do it, how to engage in this gathering of family stories and telling of family stories. So you turn off the news and you're telling family stories so that we're not alone, okay? So yes, we may be not connected the way we normally are, but think about a deeper connection. Think about somebody saying, wow, Mama, would you tell me that story of Aunt Kitty again? My own daughter was today, Mama Phil was talking to her, and she said, would you tell me that story again? Okay. So it's important that we then deepen our family connection right now. And so one of the classes is family stories and healing alienation through family stories. All right. Another of the classes is also storytelling from the inside out. Storytelling from the inside out. We have been socialized, trained to tell our story from the outside in. I tried, I failed, I'm a failure. Even though we're telling the stories, we often tell it. The movie Harriet Tubman is told from that outside in. It is not told from the inside out, okay? Django is not told from the inside out. Okay. I want to tell you how that we know how to tell the stories and how to learn to tell our story from the inside out, not from the outside in. Just because I'm telling it, if I've been so taught to tell my stories from other people's perspective, then I'm an unwitting and unpaid agent. We have to flip that. Okay. And here's a wonderful opportunity to do it. So there are two storytelling classes. One called Storytelling from the Inside Out, the other one called Family Stories. These will help us extend. There also is a course about us being emotionally authentic and literate. That's Feelings as Messengers, and it's spinoffs. Then River of Touches, and it's spinoffs. River of Touches is how do we affirm each other, all right? Why we even confront each other? Why we confront, because we're in close quarters, so we're gonna bump. How do we do that? How do we handle bumping without re-injuring each other at a deep level the way the society does? It's important that we become skilled at that and we don't just hope for that. Because y'all know, if y'all know me, y'all know what's coming. Hope is important, but what's the rest? Vicky Joyner, what's the rest, y'all? Hope is not a strategy.
Hope is not a strategy.
All right. Hope is important, but hope is not a strategy. And right now, to defeat this virus, we need a strategy, okay? All those things that you put in the text chat: suicide, isolation, anxiety, depression. Y'all, we have to be the agents. And here's where I want you to call on every social worker you know that's worth their salt, every psychologist you know, and say, listen, we got to get on this. Now, don't wait for them now. You're just encouraging them to do it and to become a part of this movement that says we got to address this, but you're not waiting for them, okay? You're coming so that you know how to do this. When you pick up the phone and call your sister in Dallas, what do you do after you say, how y'all doing? Is everybody all right? And they say, yeah, everybody's all right here. Where does the conversation turn next? Do you know how to then have that conversation turn to a place where y'all go deeper without clashing, where y'all go more authentic without clashing? And if they raise something that it does come up, how do you know how to turn it so y'all don't get in an argument that exacerbates the isolation that you already are feeling because you're physically isolated? Y'all know what I'm talking about? Does this sound like something we gotta do? Okay. And we got to do this. Right? We have to do this. So to become skilled at that, every Thursday from 8 o'clock to 9:30, and every Saturday from 1:30 to 3 o'clock, an hour and a half. You come into the room like this. In fact, it'll be this room. But then you're going to break into groups, break into separate rooms. If you want to know about becoming emotionally skilled, how you doing, my sister Joyce King? How you going to talk about being emotionally skilled so that these cramped spaces don't result into more alienation and more conflicts? Then that's what you'll go to that class. If you want to know how to use the stories in the family to deepen our connection, even as we're separated in those spaces, then you want to come and get those skills. Again, that's Thursday from 8 o'clock to 9:30, and Saturday from 1 o'clock to 1:30. Now, those are the classes designed to help us.
I'm sorry, because you said Saturday from what time?
Saturday from 1:30 to 3 o'clock.
Okay, you said something else. That's
Excuse
okay.
me, thank you.
That's all right.
All right, Saturday from 1:30 to 3 o'clock. We call those AECC classes. Authentic, emotional, and cultural connection. Now, part of the cultural connections also is because part of this alienation brings up the way African people have gotten through the hard times that we have faced before, is being together and also being together in our cultural ways to affirm our culture. So what better time to recommit ourselves to our people's greatness and to our people's mission. That is the mission to return our people to our greatness, the mission to defeat this oppressor, the mission to, the mission for sovereignty. Now this is important because if you know anything about health, all right, let me just go geriatrics. Some of you may know that when men stop working, we get sick like that. When you take out a mission, when the mission is gone, sicknesses jump on, okay? When men and women have a mission, how many of you know folks who don't die before the last child get there? Y'all ever heard of that? We ain't
My great-grandmother did that.
They're gonna hold on, to Joyce King get there. They're gonna hold on to Zakiel get there. They're gonna hold on to Osafo get there, all right? Osafo had to tell folks, y'all let her die, okay? Because they're gonna hold on because they got a mission. It's really critical right now that we commit ourselves in the middle of this to our people, our families, and our people's mission to help build our immune response to defeat this. So those are the kinds of things that you'll get on those classes for Saturday, on Saturday 1:30 to 3 o'clock, and Thursday from 8 to 9:30. Now, because this virus, this is the last one right here, because this virus is changing, and because there's a number of different things and a lot of different experts, we also have a session that's, again, it's 45 minutes. All those sessions on Thursday and Saturday, 45 minutes. But this will be 3 15-minute sessions where you get tips and resources. So we'll have people, one of them is Mama Evelyn. Are you here still on the call?
I am, Baba.
On this coming Thursday, one of the classes, one of those 15-minute segments is going to be on the politics of the pandemic, specifically decoding the numbers. Mama Evelyn, would you give people just a little bit about that class?
Just really quickly. So all that information that we're getting that Bob was talking about, right? Another brother said he stopped watching the news in order to disconnect from all that information, right? Lots and lots of numbers, lots and lots of numbers given in a way that are really misinformation, right? So we're gonna break down some of the numbers, look at what the meaning behind the numbers, so that we can pull some information that actually will be helpful for us and empowering for us out of all of those numbers and all this. This many people died, this thing happened, this other thing happened. What does that all really mean? And so that's one of the things we'll look at on Thursday.
All right. Now she's gonna give you a 15-minute snapshot of that, and then if you want more, you can follow her and get it. We're also going to have Brother Ross Kofi. Ross Kofi is a farmer extraordinaire. For those people who are like, okay, people telling me I need to grow my own food. Bam, you'll get 15 minutes of Ross Kofi and growing his own food. All right. And so we'll have these on a 15-minute rotation for 45 minutes. All right. And if you don't get enough on Thursday, you can come back on Saturday, though the particular offering may change. And we're going to publish those. Now, also on this coming Thursday, during that same time, confronting behavior without attacking is Mama Afia. All right. Mama Afia, do you want to say anything about that?
Just real quickly, as Baba Wekesa said, you know, part of the social distancing has to do with our staying in our homes. And sometimes we got like 3 generations in there, sometimes more. We got various age levels. We all are feeling whatever we're feeling, some kind of way about all of this. And we're going to bump, you know, we're going to bump. Somebody didn't take out the trash. Somebody said they do this and didn't do it. And we're going to need to confront that behavior without attacking the person. And some of you are familiar with our River of Touches tool. So just some real, going to look at it really, really like up close and personal, like how to keep living together so close and so personal and do the confronting that we need to do and also not attack.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. The Baoku Dudiyemi will do storytelling from the inside out. Baoku, shake your head, wave your hand, let's hear your voice.
Hey, how you doing, Baba? This is Baoku Duduyemi. I guess we'll be talking about storytelling from the inside out.
Well, tell the folks briefly, how has this tool been useful to you?
Oh, storytelling from the inside out has been useful to me in a number of ways. There are a number of components to storytelling from the inside out. One of the components of storytelling from the inside out that has really worked for me is storytelling from the inside out, failure to success. So in storytelling from the inside out, failure to success,
yes,
we see how we often take stories in a way that we are told to look at stories. So, you know, if I'm told that, you know, I have I had a job, I had a good job, I had a particular job, and then that brother lost that job, and, you know, then he almost lost his house, and now look at him, you know, struggling, trying to take care of his family. You know, that's one way I could take a look at that. Or I could look at it from a different perspective, my perspective, where I could say, I took that job initially because my aspirations for having an entrepreneurial venture, you know, I wasn't ready for them at that time. I didn't have enough contacts. I didn't have enough resources. And so I took that job to give me some space. You know, when I took that job to give me some space, you know, I realized that I wasn't too long for this gig. You know, I could give myself, I get some support to make it through. But, you know, then it just got too hard for a brother. So I had to let it go so I could save space for the things that I really needed to accomplish in life. You know, and that was the entrepreneurial ventures that I hadn't let go of yet. So what a brother do? Well, in the meantime, my money is low.
All right, now you can't tell us the whole story.
Yeah, you know, I'm having trouble, you know, making ends meet. I said, so, you know, we had to, you know, deal with some mortgage paying issues. And in the meantime, I'm still paying it now. We still making it happen. Just my money funny. It come in slow.
Wonderful. One of the things for those of you, thank you, Baoku, for those of you who talked about depression, particularly, it's really important, this tool of learning how to tell the stories. He said, failure to success. That is, many times we're trained to, if we make a mistake or fail at something, the story that we tell ourselves is that we are failures, okay? All right, and so that has to be a story that we have to rewrite, and that's a part of how he helps with that story. And so hopefully y'all got a taste. You know, I respect your time. It is what did we say? We said 7.
Because Brother Tafari, you need to introduce.
Oh, I sure do. Brother Tafari, I need to introduce Brother Kemet, maybe still on the call.
Baba Kemet, I think
Baba
so.
Kemet. Oh, all right, but now Brother Tafari is going to be is slated to do Feelings as Messengers on Saturday. Okay, and again, we're going to publish this piece out. Would you say something about that, Brother Safari?
Yeah, so really briefly, hello everyone. So yeah, feelings as messengers, or FAM for short is what we like to call it. And what that session is going to be really tending to is this idea of how do we get into tips, tricks, tools, and strategies to help us feel all of our feelings. Like one of the things that's a popular refrain that we talk about in Aya is that, oppression has been encoded into our learned emotional responses. That's a long way of saying, those situations and circumstances that come up where you're like, I feel this, and I'm gonna say that because this reason, what have you. What we're gonna do with FAM is really look at some of the popular conventions around thinking and feeling and cut through a lot of the popular misconceptions and get to a space where you get skilled and feel comfortable with showing the range of your emotions and feelings for yourself and to your loved ones and extending out from there from a place of authenticity. And really getting to know yourself in a deeper way, in a deeper level. So all of these tools are related to each other. You'll hear references to all of them as we talk more and more. That's the snippet. We'll talk more about it on Thursday and on Saturday.
Now, what I want to
also Baba Kojo, Wekesa.
All right, Baba Kojo is here, and Baba Kojo will be doing a session that he's just learning about on
that's nice.
that I know he's done for me and for many people. This is a wonderful time for us to read to our children. All right, this is a wonderful time for us to read to our children, okay, and our grandchildren. All right, in addition to just tell stories, we need to read stories, and Baba Kojo has some powerful information about the impact of doing that, and also tools for doing that, books for doing that, stories, children's books. You see those books behind him, Baba Kojo? Raise your hand, wave your hand or something. There you go. Oh, he's surrounded by about 5,000 books, okay, in his personal library. And so he's key to begin to help us use this time wisely to connect to our children and also to connect them to reading and for us to reconnect to it through our children and our grandchildren. Whether you're with them, or guess what, you can also use social media to also read to your children. But still, reading is very, very important. Baba Kojo, would you introduce yourself quickly and say something about parents reading to their children? Because that's what you're going to be focusing on.
Well, thank you very much for letting me know I was going to be doing this. It's been proven that, your children, you teach your children on your lap first, lap time. You get lap time with your children. And it doesn't matter how old the children are. It can be teenagers because there's a bond that's developed between you and that child. I tell a story about myself. I couldn't read until I was 9 years old. And my grandfather always had books around him. And he was the example for me of what a man was. A black man read and he wrote. Although I couldn't read, he influenced me to love books to this day. You will influence your child's ability to learn on your lap. That's what we're going to talk about.
Thank you so much. And so there will be others, other ideas, other things that are coming. We have Aya parents who are part of the Aya family who are skilled. Baba Brian, Mama Terica, number of different folks as we have those classes going forward. So make sure that we have your email address. All right. So and put in the text chat if you can. Stay connected to us. Watch us on Instagram, Facebook, and spread the word. We're going to, again, this Thursday and this Saturday. We're also going to have another town hall meeting like this on Monday for you to tell people or you can come back. Right. Now it's time to wrap up. But I want you to have the last word. So if you're willing to stay with me for a minute, it's 9:02. But the way we like to end at Aya is with any appreciations. So if there's anything you appreciate, Baba Kimmett, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, great. I see you now. All right. Baba Kemet, you may not know it yet, but you're on schedule for doing a session on River of Touches. All right.
It's a point.
We can't hear you. Your connection is bad. But some of you may see his face. And thank you. He's out there in California where they got the shelter in place there, and the National Guard to help them shelter in place. So what I want to do is
I think he heard that.
well, I think he can hear well when you talk back on it. And so what I want you to do, y'all, if there are any appreciations you have, would you say them now? If there's one thing you learned or relearned, say it quickly. If you haven't identified yourself, just say, I'm with Tamu, I'm in Atlanta. One thing I learned is this, or one thing I appreciate is this. Welcome, Deborah Watkins. So glad to see you. So let's end in a sense of community with anything that you appreciate. All right, let's hit it.
Deborah's gonna say something real quick, and that is, I love Aya's classes, and somebody from the West Coast said, can they take them? I'm like, yeah, we're on the West Coast. I take them anytime my schedule opens up, or I make arrangements to take Aya's classes. But I wanted to just emphasize, as the founder of a Black Education Network, that this is an opportunity. Our children, we call it, curricular violence, right? What they're subjected to in these white-run schools. This is an opportunity to actually supplement what they're getting in these packets and other materials that are not culturally relevant. So thank you, Aya, for your amazing work, and I'm all in.
Mo. Now, y'all don't know mo. Y'all might get to it. Wekesa is from the Twi language, and it's not mope like moping around. Okay, it's mo, and the wind has to come from your stomach. Mo.
Hey, Sister Deborah with NABSW, how you doing?
I'm good. Lord, up here. It ain't what you appreciate about this evening.
Yes. You just keep doing it.
Okay, so she was talking to Deborah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Hey, whoever that was.
All right, come on, y'all. Keep it going.
NABSW. Okay.
NABSW.
Oh, wait a minute. You know what? I'm gonna call on some folks to make it easy, so that everybody ain't crashing into everybody. I gotta hear from my sister Joyce King. What's up?
Good evening. I'm so glad that I was able to get in on the last part of this, and I just want to congratulate Aya on the wonderful contribution you're making to save our people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sister George. Wekesa.
Look it up, yes, and
we have one other person attending who we haven't asked to help us with this yet. Mama Monica Utsi.
On the schedule.
Sankofa School. I'm sorry, Sankofa Homeschool. Mama Monica, we want you to talk about homeschooling options. And I did send you a request. I just wanted to acknowledge you. I didn't know you were here. Good to see you.
Hey, Monica.
But what I'm grateful for learning tonight is that I have to feed my melanin. I never heard that concept before, and I wrote those things down, and I'm going to start feeding my melanin tomorrow.
All right, beautiful thing. Good to see you, my sister. All right, so Esperanza, open your mic.
Yes, give thanks, brother. How are you? And the family.
Hey.
Anything you appreciate about tonight?
Yes, give thanks. The mission for sovereignty is awesome. Looking forward to contributing. Thanks to all of you and the awesome works that are being moved forward. Ashe. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Ashe.
And we will continue to support the network.
Okay, we'll do. Mope.
Wekesa, excuse me
Yes.
1 second. I wanted to I recognize Sarah Seasway. I think you did earlier. She's Aya's high school language arts teacher, and she put into the chat an essay from one of our students and that has written about this whole piece. I just wanted to acknowledge that.
All right, great. Sister Seasway, you want to have a word?
Yes, give thanks. So our students in my class, they get a whole lot of creative writing assignments, and this past week they needed to write about all of the good things that are coming out as a result of the current worldly situation. So these are some of the essays that students have submitted to me for sharing. So I have posted 2 of them in the chat so far. I'm going through, and I'll work with Baba Wekesa, Mama Afia about sharing some further. But the students they have some very insightful words, and I think that it would be great for the parents and the community to hear from the perspective of your young ones that you've been investing in all this time. So those are in the chat for your reading pleasure. Thank you.
Fantastic. Talking about how we're going to teach language arts and grab this time. Thank you so much. All righty. The appreciations I want to call out. Want to hear from my brother who I ain't seen in another time for a long time. A brother from another mother, Osafo Kweziata. Anything you appreciate? Hey, brother, please introduce yourself. Come in the house.
Really appreciate the conversation about melanin. Really appreciate the whole conversation about how we fight this this virus. That we have what's inside of us. We have tools in the universe, and we have the foods, and we have all the sun, all of the stuff that God has given us to fight this virus, and not allow the scare and the shock to derail us from what we know how to do for ourselves.
All righty. Mama Donata.
Hello.
We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, peace, family. Well, there are so many things. I think what I appreciated, what struck me first, or actually I'm still thinking about, is the black garlic, the black seed oil, the black rice, the echinacea, and the green tea. I just never made that connection, and now it's so clear in my mind. And I think Baba Wekesa and Mama Afia, you do a phenomenal job of just grounding us in the importance of melanin, and that is in so many different things and how beneficial it is for our bodies. I'm just still sitting looking at this list, and I was actually looking up how to make black garlic, how to ferment it. But I appreciate, I love you all. Thank you so much. All the information that you share. Our family has been enriched by your beingness. So we appreciate it. We love you.
And Mama Donata is our chemistry teacher at our Education Institute. You know, 9/11. All right, come on, y'all. What we got in the text chat? I'm just gonna read a couple of these appreciations. Give voice to some. Renata says, "This is awesome. We love our brother and sister. They are with us in Richmond often. This is their home too. Yes, we feel the same." Mama Ma'ada, the social social connecting classes. Look for the email so I can spread the word. Mommy Imani said, I learned that the average number of prescriptions for drugs for people 60 and over is 12. I appreciate I leading the charge for the solution of our mental, physical, spiritual, emotional health, and wellness. Wow, my husband takes about 25 a day or more. Whew. All right, so let's take a couple more. No, we can't give for everybody. Those of you who want to say something that you appreciate, and then we're gonna pull up some music and leave out of here the right way.
Yeah, Paucho.
My Paucho, Baba Kendall.
Mama Afia, Baba Wekesa, I appreciate you all around. You could be doing anything else. You could be worried about your own pocketbook. You could be worried about your own family and to say, hey, I ain't got time to talk to the whole African nation. I don't have time to educate the whole African nation. I could be doing something else besides researching this virus and making sure that our people got the best knowledge, wisdom, and understanding so that we can move ourselves forward and be healthy and be together. I appreciate you, Barbara. I appreciate you, Mama. Keep on doing what you're doing, and I always got your back. Abiba Fahodie.
Appreciate you, Baba.
We'll take 2 more, and then we got some soul makusa for you.
Hajj Aisha Jeffrey Cisse. I am just grateful for a way to reimagine this whole trial through my familiar, my culturally appropriate lens. And it's because of you. You are our guides, and you know how I feel. You know how I feel.
Thank you, Mama Aisha.
Thank you, Mama Aisha.
Thank you. Thank you, Mama.
And thank you for that name that I couldn't think of, Najela Sativa. Thank you, Mo.
Mashallah. Thank you.
All right, one more.
Well, this is Baba Kojo. A friend of mine has told me he was down at Alex Haley's farm about a year or two ago. And there was a sign over the door that said, "Find the good and praise it." And I think I appreciate you and Mama Wekesa for helping us to find the good and praise it.
Well, I have first, a general appreciation for each and every one of you. Please help us. Please spread the word. Please make this a movement that we are going to take. We're going to defeat this virus by taking charge of our immune system, both the physical part that we need to eat and exercise, but also the spiritual and emotional connection to each other and to our culture. So thank you all, and please help us keep doing it. We're going to push it. We want to turn it around. I have to say that I also appreciate my wife. Her name is Mama Afia. Her name is Afia. All right. And so without her, none of this would be possible. Okay. And she ain't somebody, I mean, she's both behind, in front, and on each side. Okay. That's the truth, Ruth. Okay. So